Hi, my name's Sue Penn, and I'm a fabric designer for FreeSpirit and a mixed media artist. I want to show you a piece of fabric that was from my Light in the Forest collection. If you have a piece, you are very lucky because it's very hard to find. This is my last fat quarter I have. But the good news is today we're going to paint a piece of fabric so it looks like this. That way you can have your painted fabric that matches my FreeSpirit fabric. I'm going to show you a quilt that has the center is the painted fabric. I'm going to just hold it up so you can see. I hope you can see. What we're going to use to make this fabric, we're going to use 2 stencils from my stencil collection that I sell through Etsy. Okay, these are 2 of the stencils from my collection. On the back you can see some of the other ones. This is medallion 1, and of course this is medallion 2. So I've got my black fat quarter laid out here. I've got my paint in my palette. I've put the warm colors in one palette and the cool colors in another palette because I'm going to kind of blend them and I don't want to mix up the two. Today I'm just using inexpensive paint from Hobby Lobby. It's $8 or $9.99 and it goes on sale for half price, so it's great. And stenciling actually uses more paint than regular painting does. So you use it up a lot, you want to use a less expensive paint. You can use any acrylic paint you want, whatever you prefer, whatever you have. You can even use craft paint. I don't add a medium to my paint. I don't add anything to it. It doesn't come out. I found the hard way that acrylic paint does not come out of clothing. So it's not going to come off your fat quarter. And it's not going to come off your quilt. All right. So here we go. I'm going to use the blues, greens, and teals first. And I'm going to do kind of an ombre effect. Oh, and I forgot to say, my friend Nancy's here from On Point TV. Here, quick, we'll give you a quick look at her. There's Nancy, and she's going to ask questions.
If I come up with a question, I'll ask it. Otherwise, I'm just going to watch and enjoy like you are.
And then she's going to also tell me to smile.
Smile more, Sue.
Okay. All right. We're back. All right. So I use a paint dauber. They're well loved. They don't have to be brand new. I've got a whole bucket full, and they're clean. They're just stained. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work from the inside out. And I'm going to go from light to dark with my paint colors. You dab it off because you don't want too much on there. But enough. Just right. Kind of like the Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. Have to be just right. Okay, so I made my center the lightest color. And then I don't change daubers. I'm going to go to the next color or another color. Doesn't have to be light to dark, I guess. And then I'm going to overlap the first one. Still leaving the center light. I'm going to overlap. It's super easy. If you get too much paint, just dab it off. It's also easier to do stenciling flat on canvases because it doesn't bounce as much. Just hold it in place. You can also tape it in place if you're worried about it moving. Use some blue painter's tape. Okay, here we go. See that ombre effect? Isn't that pretty? Okay, I'm going to wipe off my stencil because I'm going to do a different... I'm still going to work with the blues and greens, but I'm going to go in a different order. So they coordinate, this part of the fabric coordinates, but it doesn't necessarily match. Kind of wipe it off, takes a minute. All right, I like to do things in threes. I think I'm going to do the reverse this time. I'm going to start with the dark. And work to the light. Or maybe I'll do the light in the middle. Okay, I'm going to switch paint daubers. When you start with dark, it's hard to add light back in. I'm here in my studio in Des Moines, Iowa. It's called Mainframe Studios, and there are, I think, over 150 artists in the building. It's a great place to be. We can collaborate, and I don't work alone all day, which is wonderful. I can wander out in the hallway or go down the hallway and see a friend. Ooh, I love how it turned out. Okay, I'm going to wipe down my stencil, and then I'm going to put little medallions between. The bigger one is an 8.5 by 11. This smaller one is a 6 by 6. I'm obsessed with stencils, so that's why I decided to make my own. All right, I'm going to start at the top and work down. I think what I'm going to... I'll do some ombre ones, I guess, to start. I'm going to do yellow, pink, and red on this one, I think.
So when it comes time, I want to be close enough that maybe they can hear me. So when it comes time that you're actually designing fabric to be printed by FreeSpirit for us quilters to use, are you thinking about that when you're doing this kind of painting, or are you just painting to play and then you think, hey, that might be nice in my next line?
And so I don't know.
Is it like reverse engineered, or do you do you paint things and go, ooh, that'd be pretty fabric, or do you paint things and go, I need a fabric that's like this, so then I paint it?
I paint some things because I know they're going to go on fabric. Like usually the large main print, I paint first, and then I think in terms of how fabric is designed. I think in terms of I need patterns that are light, medium, and dark. I need maybe a dot, maybe a stripe, maybe a medium print, a small print, and a large print. But I kind of try to vary things. So I used to just paint and it would get turned into fabric, and now I've started consciously making patterns on canvas that I know are going to go with the main print that I started. Sometimes I just have paintings around that I think, oh, well, that matches, that'll work. So I haven't really thought about it when I'm, ooh, that turned out pretty. When I'm painting on fabric, I'm just painting on fabric for fun. I'm just playing, which is my favorite thing to do, is play with paint. Now, the fabric that was actually printed by FreeSpirit, that had a lot more overlapping. And you can do that. We just can't show it on the video because we don't have time to dry it. But it would have a lot more overlapping. I'm going to go back to that first stencil. And I'm going to paint through the stencil so I can be more selective about where the paint goes. And I think I'm just going to do yellow. And you don't want a lot of paint. You got to, but I just kind of use it as a paint. The yellow is not as bright as I'd like, but I'm just using this as kind of a guide to brush paint on. It's great to overlap. The quilt pattern that I used did the center, this black fabric for the center. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but that will be a free download. I don't know if I already said that, but in the description, you can use whatever other fabrics you want. I painted 4 fat quarters, 1 black, and then 3 others in various colors. And then I used 3 fat quarters from one of my fabric lines, and then used the border print. The quilt fabric is not actually available, but you can use any wild and fun print for the border and fat quarters that coordinate. You also don't have to paint in rainbow, even though rainbow is my favorite color. You can paint in more muted colors. I just happen to like the whole spectrum. Okay. I think it needs more. So I'm going to do the same sort of thing on the small stencil here. But I'm going to do it, I'm going to use two different colors. Need a little bit more of the aqua. It's called Ocean Green is the official name. All right, see, here's my blue and green palette again, and I'm dipping in 2 colors at once. Let's see what happens. Ooh, it's covering a little bit better, and we're getting a variety of kind of brush strokes are showing. I'm just playing when I don't think a lot ahead of time about where I'm going to place things. I just kind of try to balance things out. Let's do one more kind of in this area. I mean, you don't have to use my stencils. You can use any medallion stencil you want. You can add more stenciling to the back. I have one stencil that's little tiny dots that would be great in between. I have another medallion stencil called Starburst. And then when you're all done and it's dry, when I'm all done and it's dry, I take it to my sewing machine and use decorative stitches to really bring out the medallions. All right, now I'm going to fill in a little bit. I'm not going to make you watch the whole time, but I'm going to use a little paint dauber, and I think I'm going to do red. And I'm going to do sets of 3 dots. Just anything to add interest to the background. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Stenciling is never perfect. I like it. I think we better quit because I could keep going and going. But I think now's a good time to quit. This is the free pattern that will be downloaded, that you can download off YouTube. Remember, there's 2 stencils. You can find them on my Etsy sites, Sue Penn Designs. And I'm also going to put a 10% off coupon that you can use anytime for fabric, for stencils, because you watched my video. Thanks for joining me. Welcome back. We're doing painting on fabric today. This is what we started with, and I let it dry, and now I'm going to add some embellishments with some really fun markers. And this is my favorite new toy. These are Posca markers. I got the 29 marker set because I think I need to own every color of everything I have so I don't miss out. But anyway, they're great acrylic marker pens, just like the paint that you buy in the store that you use with a paintbrush. Got to shake them up really good. And then I dab and test. And I just felt like this needed something. This needed more, just more going on. So I'm going to start doodling. I think what the first thing I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to go with a brighter color. Bright is beautiful. We'll say that. I think I'm going to do a bright pink. And I'm going to put some outlines around the yellow flowers because I think they need something. So hopefully my head won't get in the way. And I just do a loose doodle. Whoops. That needs to be shaken up a little bit more because the fabric absorbed the paint. And I'm just gonna do some fun outlining. So I tried just going on the edges, and I decided I needed to overlap the paint so the new paint doesn't soak in, because the markers aren't as heavy body as the paint that I was using with the stencils. So I'm going on the edge. If some of it sinks in, that's not a problem. Yeah, that's working. I love the Posca markers. I've also used Montana markers. Think you can find those at Michael's. Liquitex has markers. Everybody has fun acrylic paint markers. You can use whatever you have or whatever you can find. Yeah, I like what's happening with this. It needed more going on. So I mentioned earlier that my stencils are all available on my Etsy site, and you can order them with a 10% discount if you use the code that's in the description. Now these blue circles kind of got absorbed into the fabric, so I'm just gonna kind of shade them with a lighter, brighter blue. Make sure you shake your markers. I'm just gonna kind of Just kind of doodle them. Now, this is washable. I usually iron the fabric when it's completely dry to make sure the color's set. You can stitch over it. The quilt I did using this kind of fabric, I did all kinds of decorative stitches on the medallions. I already said you can wash it. It softens up a little bit when you wash it, but it won't come out. And you don't have to wash it. You don't have to wash your quilts. I think for now that's all I'm going to do, and we're going to move on in a different video to another fabric. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe and hit that button that sends you notifications, and comment, ask questions, and just enjoy painting. Thank you.